Every single thing.
It is, isn't it?
It's a boy.
Hi guys! Hi guys! Oh, you jumping? I am so sorry I did not upload last Monday. Just things came up. I didn't get enough footage and it just was not worth it. You guys weren't gonna get really interesting footage, so I just took that Monday off. But I am back and I will be back every Monday. You have my word for it, so be ready. I am coming at you guys with a birth experience on how I got this little man into this world, huh? Yeah, I'm gonna tell that story. That very painful experience I went through. But it was so worth it. Am I right? I'm right. I'm so right about that. I went to my OB appointment around August 7th or 8th, and we set my induction date for August 15th, 2017. The reason for being induced was, one, at that 39-week checkup I had still no progression. I had no dilation. I wasn't a face. Nothing was happening to get this baby out yet. You're so cute. Wow. Are you gonna be talking to this whole video? Alright, anyways. So I had no progression and this guy was freaking huge. He was like always measuring 4 weeks ahead. So they didn't want me to go any farther. Just in case he got too big and he couldn't come out, or they just didn't want to risk any complications. So in that whole 7 days, I was hoping that something, would happen. I would go naturally and just go into labor on my own, but of course nothing happened. So August 15th, I go in for my induction. And ironically, before my induction, like that afternoon, I got to see my specialist. It was my very last specialist appointment, who I saw once a week. And I had to see a specialist because they were just tracking his growth. So they wanted to see that every week. So I got to see this little man in 3D. So it was kind of like my last hoorah, like goodbye pregnancy kind of thing. It was nice seeing my little guy. I know. 11 p.m. August 15th, I go to the hospital. We go to Triage and we fill out all of our paperwork and we get that started. That was a good hour, I think, to do that. Like, it took a while. And then a nurse came down and got us from Triage after all the paperwork and stuff was done. And we really got the ball rolling pretty quickly. They gave me my gown. I changed into that. And then they started my IV, and then they started me on step 1 of induction. Usually you hear people just starting with Pitocin, but since I had nothing going on, they had to try and dilate me with medication. So they started me on this stuff called Cervidil, which basically looked like a flat tampon, and it goes all the way up to your cervix and it just lays there. That was very, 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 very painful. It looked as if I was already in labor, about to push my son out. I was holding on to the bed rails ah! It was so bad. It was so bad I started bleeding, literally. So they did that and they told me that had to stay in for 12 hours. So I know. So we sat there for 12 stinking hours just waiting and hanging out. And I couldn't eat. They didn't even want me to get up really unless I really had to pee or go to the bathroom or anything. And because the more you're up, the more that will start moving its way down. So they didn't want that happening. He's very distracting. So 12 hours go by and they have to dig this thing out of me. It was, oh my gosh, guys, that was probably the worst part, to be honest, was getting things inserted and taken out so many times. Nothing, no dilation after the 12 hours, and no thinning, nothing was happening still. So she had to go talk to the doctor and see what to do next, if we would start another round of that or if we would start another. The nurse finally comes back and she tells me that the doctor said they're going to start me on Cytotec, and she was like, it could either be entered vaginally or it could be entered orally, like you take it orally. So she was like, lucky for you, we get to do it orally. Your doctor said we get to do that. So every 4 hours I was taking this Cytotec, and I only got to, I think, 3 doses. The first 4 hours go by and nothing at all happened. Nothing at all. I mean, I was starting to feel stuff, but I definitely like had no dilation, no thinning still. I did have very small hills happening on the contraction monitor. But nothing too close apart, nothing big, nothing they cared about, of course. Like, it was just whatever. So they started me on my second dose. Around when my second dose was started, I believe it was probably, it was like 8 o'clock. Yeah, okay, you have my hair. They started me on my second dose around 8 o'clock. Before they did that, I got to take a break. They let me eat. They let me shower. They unhooked me from every single thing. They unhooked me from everything, so that was really great. I finally got to relax and like watch my show and eat. And then when I was done and ready, they started me on my second dose. Maybe around 11, I started feeling really bad back pain. Nothing like excruciating yet, but it was definitely not good at all. She had me on the ball. She had me at the peanut ball in between my legs. I was on my stomach, or like on my knees. I was on my side. I was trying every position and nothing was helping. And then 4 hours go by, and of course, I think she said it was not even a centimeter, but it was barely, like she could fit some of her finger or whatever she said. But yeah, so slowly something was happening. But 12 a.m. and it was time to do my third dose. I remember throughout that 4-hour wait time, she started me on hourly IV pain medication. So that helped like the very first time, but the second hour we did it, yeah, it wasn't helping. Like, I guess my body already like built a tolerance to it, because the pain at that point was unbearable. There was no medicine to help me, unless it was an epidural, of course. I remember the nurse came in and Colton was just like, can we just cut him out already? Like, you guys, it's been over 24 hours. She's not progressing anymore. Her body's not gonna let her like just get this kid out. And she didn't really seem too concerned with what we said. She was just like, I understand you guys, blah blah blah. I remember during that 4-hour process, everything just hit like a bus. I went from being okay to with like back pain, but nothing that was like crying on the floor wanting to like die back pain. It was like, I don't even know, like it was crazy. Okay, 1, 2, 3, it was like boom, you're in labor. My back felt like it was breaking. It wasn't stomach contractions or anything, it was all in my back. And let me tell you, back labor is no joke. If you've been through back labor, you understand what I'm talking about when I say back labor is no joke. I was blacking out, I was shaking. My back labor contractions were literally less than a minute apart. So they didn't even check me for dilation at that point. They were just like, yeah, we're doing an epidural, because I was crying, like I was bawling. The nurse was just like trying to help me. Colton had his like hands around my hips and would push them in. We like learned that in birthing class or whatever, and it really helped me. That was one of the techniques that I just really liked and that we stuck with. So he was doing that every less than a minute. I'd be yelling his name like, do it now! Like, I was such a mess. I called my mom. I was like, Mom, I'm about to get an epidural. Please come on. Like, I was just, oh my goodness. We waited probably 30 minutes and the anesthesiologist came in and my mom had to leave the room, but Colton got to stay, thankfully. I remember telling the nurse, I was like, I don't know how we're gonna do this. If you guys are gonna be sticking this needle in me when the contractions hit, I'm gonna move. She's like, that's what I'm here for. Trust me, you're not gonna move. I was like, we'll see about that. I didn't move though, so I guess it worked. I don't know how I didn't move. I was brave. But yeah, that was a very scary process, the epidural. I was so nervous for it. I was just nervous of moving and messing everything up. The pain though, it wasn't really bad. I feel like I can't even remember the pain to even tell you guys on a scale of what it felt like to get it. It was more of just a pinch and a pop and it was done. I'm one of those people when I have like an IV or something in me, like I just feel like I can't move. So when I had like the IV in my hand, like my hand was like paralyzed, like I just didn't want to move it or lay it down anywhere. So with the epidural in my back and having to lay on my back, it was like anxiety. So that was not fun, but it was amazing because almost automatically the back labor was gone. I was finally relaxing. I was getting to just lay there comfortably. At this point, it was already light outside. I remember it was the very beginning of morning, and it was Colton's first day of college, and he had to miss it because of how crazy that morning was. And it was the 17th, so this was the day I gave birth to this little guy. After I had my epidural, we laid there for about 4 hours, I think. And my doctor comes in, and I saw her dressed in surgical, like, stuff to wear for a C-section. And I was like my brain was like imploding when I saw that outfit on her. And she was like, hi, and I was like, hi. He's expressing how I felt. But she's like, so we're gonna have to do a C-section whenever. Oh, I didn't mention this. Once they got the epidural and they checked me for dilation, and I was a 3. But she didn't tell me this, but for the reason I had to get my C-section was because they didn't feel his head or something, which indicated that he wasn't even dropping into my birth canal, which meant that he couldn't even fit into my birth canal. So I think they said something with my pelvis was something, I don't know, tilted, I don't even know, I can't remember why he wasn't fitting into my birth canal, but something with my pelvis. Told me I will be getting cut open within the next hour. And when she said that, like, my mom was already like left at this point. Like, I had to like call her. I was like, Mom, get your butt back here. I'm going to be getting a C-section in less than an hour. Like, oh my gosh. I was calling Colton's parents. I was messaging all my friends, everyone, and saying this kid's about to come, so be ready. He's about to make his appearance. Mwah. Yeah, so they came in, they started. What was that? You just tapped my cheek? So it was literally within 30 minutes they were wheeling me back to the surgery room to get this guy out. It was sad whenever I had to leave Colton. Like, he got to walk with me, and then they're like, all right, you have to go wait in here. And I was just like, what? No! And so I was terrified at that point. Is that good? So, cut to me on the table, about to get cut open. They were prepping me, doing whatever they need to do, sterilizing. I remember he tested to see if I could feel anything. He would pinch me in an area where I could feel it and then slowly go down and told me to tell him when I can't feel anything. He was like, you feel that? I was like, nope. And he just kept pinching and I didn't feel anything. So they're like, all right, we're about to cut. If you feel anything, please tell us. So I feel something. I was like, oh no, like I feel something. And they were like, all right. So he takes his little syringe and doses me up. He was like, you feel anything? I was like, no, I do not. And so they started cutting, and then they let Colton in. Colton said that when he was walking in, he saw, like, he said it was gory. I was like, man, I wish I could see, like, I wanted them to let us, like, record or take pictures of it so freaking bad. He doesn't like sitting on this side for some reason. So he finally came back, and I was very happy. He sat there holding my hand, and we were just kind of chit-chatting. I was really trying to sleep because I was so tired, and I was finally like getting to relax even though I was freezing my butt off. It was so cold in there, and it was like so white, like it was white lights and everything was just like white. It was like I was like sitting in just like heaven or something. It was weird. Everything was just bright, I guess. Really trying to close my eyes and rest, but every time I closed my eyes, Colton was like, are you okay? And I was like, yes. And so it kind of made me not want to close my eyes anymore because I didn't want like anyone else thinking I was dying or something. So I just forced my eyes open, which was so hard. Like my eyes were literally rolling shut. Like it was really hard. Eventually, like this process was only 10 minutes, and we got to around the 9-minute mark, and they were like, all right, you're about to feel lots of pressure because we're getting this kid out right now. We see him, we're touching him, we're pulling him. It was the craziest pressure feeling of my life. Like, guys, it was weird. Like, I can't even explain the feeling. I just remember there was a lot of tugging on my insides, and it was weird. And then 1, 2, 3, pop! I hear this kid crying. Like, I started crying just from hearing his little precious cry, like literally tears. I was just bawling my eyes out, and I didn't get to see him until they brought him back, because when they showed me him over the little thing, they're like, oh, congrats. All I saw was this little booty, this little bloody booty, and I was literally dodging it because there was some blood coming off of him, and I was like, I'm not trying to get that on my face right now. It was funny, but so they took him off, Colton left, and I was just sitting there, I guess, being sewn up. Ow! Levi Ray. I was sitting there being sewn up, and then I remember Colton coming back holding him, and he was like, you want to see him? And I was just like, guys, it was the craziest thing, just like putting eyes on your child for the very first time after they've been inside your body for like 9 months. And I remember Colton's exact words were, he looks just like you. And I was just like in awe, just like staring at him. And the nurse was like, do you want to do like skin to skin? And I was like, yeah. That was what's awesome about my hospital is, you know, like most C-sections, you don't get to hold them like on you. They're just kind of held on you, like next to you. But they took my gown off, like the top of me, and they put him on my chest fully, and I just got to lay with him while they sewed me up. For most part of it, like I think the last 10 minutes, Colton and him left, and Colton went and sat with him in the recovery room thing waiting for me. And so after I was sewn up, they sent me on my way to that little room, and we had to wait there for 2 hours, which were the longest 2 hours of my life. Like, I wanted my family just to meet Levi already, and they said that they usually don't allow people in there, but the nurse, we were the only people in that little area where all the recovery rooms were, so the nurse was like, I'll let you guys have 2 people come down and see him. So the first person we brought down was my mom. Colton got her, and she got to hold Levi for a little bit, and then she left, and Colton's mom came down and got to hold little man for a little bit, and that was awesome. And then the 2 hours finally passed, and we got to go up to our postpartum room. I think that's what it's called. That's when everyone got to meet him. I was out of it. I wasn't in pain. I wasn't really feeling any pain yet. I know I was like still kind of trembling a little bit. I was very, very itchy. Like, I was so itchy from the epidural. Like, I felt like I looked crazy because at least for 4 hours I was just like this, just going crazy. But it was great. It was a crazy experience, you guys, but it was so worth it. And I mean, I ended up having a C-section and having to go through a surgery and not get to do it like, you know, the way most women want to do it. But I'm glad that he's here and he's healthy and everything went rather smoothly. The recovery process was honestly, okay, well, it was bad. I'm not gonna like sugarcoat it or anything. It was pretty bad. Getting up for the first time, they made me get up I think that night, but I kept pushing it. It probably wasn't until like 7 a.m. not 7 a.m. like 4 or 5 a.m. But they made me get up and walk to the bathroom and stuff like that because they wanted me to pee, which was horrible. And then I was at the hospital after my C-section for I believe 3 days, and I went home on a Sunday, so that was great. It was kind of hard. I literally slept in this recliner right here for about a week straight because I could not crawl in and out of my bed and take care of my newborn when he woke up in the middle of the night. It was just rather impossible, painful. I didn't want to deal with it, but walking literally really helped me a lot. It made things a lot easier. It made the pain go away quicker. It made me recover faster. My mistake is I didn't wear that belly band they give you in the hospital. I left it on accident. So if I had that, I'm pretty sure I would have been like a lot more better than I was. But all in all, it was worth it. I will totally go through it again for this little dude. And I will be going through it again in the future. And yeah, that is my birth experience. And I hope you guys enjoyed listening to how this little man came to our earth. That is how you were born, little guy. But yeah, let me know if you guys had a C-section or vaginal in the comments below. And also let me know if you did natural or epidural. That is very interesting. I want to see what you guys did. I will see you guys next Monday. Bye!